So we're going to dive into another viewer-submitted lineup here. So this lineup is one that's a bunch of decks that I haven't really played on stream before. So we're going to give a quick overview of them before we dive in. The first is another Shyvana build here, and I'm not sure. My gut says this build of Shyvana is probably worse than the other two that we've played in the last 2 days. It's trying to play a lot of the more expensive dragons and top-ending in the Sky's Descent as a way to kind of leverage having lots of dragons in play. But notably, if we look at the curve of this deck, it's really chunky, right? Notably, there's actually 0 1-drops in the deck. It's also playing Herald of Dragons, which I feel like while this card on 2 into a Shyvana or a White Flame on 3 is very powerful, there's a lot of 1 damage removal in this format now, right? There's like Vile Feast and Go Hards and stuff like that, Make It Rains, that this gets picked off. So I'm wondering if this is going to be reasonable or if it's a card that's going to like be a bad top deck in the late game and frequently get killed early. The second deck in our lineup is a Bilgewater Noxus deck that's playing Twisted Fate and Gangplank. It's an aggressively slanted mid-range deck with Captain Pharaoh and Rex at the top end and things like Grifter and Zap. Largely playing Noxious Splash for reach and interaction. We've got Death's Hand, Noxian Fervor, and Decimate here. And then the last deck in the lineup is a fairly stock Nightfall aggro deck. I actually think this archetype's a lot of fun. Diana's one of my favorite champions in the game. She's a really sweet, aggressively slanted champion that also helps you control the board with her mix of quick attack and challenger. So very good mid-range champ, can be aggressive when you need to be aggressive, but also lets you control the board when you need to take a more controlling role. So let's go ahead and dive on into a gauntlet with this and see how it goes. So Fiora, Shyvana, Twisted Gangplank, and Nightfall aggro. Let's do it. Huh? I'm in the enemy deck. Let's start with this. For people that aren't familiar with the Gauntlet format in Runeterra, it is best of 3 pick ban. So each player brings 3 decks. You ban one of your opponent's decks. And then you have to win. You have to win a game with each of your remaining 2 decks. No, I don't really have much experience with the Archetype Mikabo, so I'm just playing the deck list that I was submitted. I think I keep Make It Rain with Deckhand here. I have Twisted Fate with Deckhand. Let's mulligan these 2 look for smoother threads. Thanks for the heads up on the scene.
Think you're fast? Cute.
Cute. I'm gonna pass here, because if we bank spell mana this turn, that's fine. I'd prefer them not be able to hook my keg. Because this keg will let Death's Hand kill this Blade Twirler, which is nice. With that spell mana bank from turn 1, we'll get to Death's Hand here, which will trigger Plunder, so I'll get to play Jagged Butcher before I attack now.
Suppose you want in on this.
Suppose I should leave you be.
Let's stand up for this second moment, huh? We'll stretch the old legs out.
I go where the road takes me.
Huh? I think I want to gold card this. It marks his toughness down enough that I can attack in profitably next turn.
Hold it, partner. My kind of lessons.
For people in chat, my chat, we hold the higher standards than a lot of other places on Twitch. If you want to be critical of a card choice that we're playing, you need to make sure you provide a justification of why the card choice you're being critical of is a bad card. Otherwise, you're going to get a 10-minute break. Just, this other card's better, that card's bad. Those types of low effort, low quality comments are going to get you tugged out here every single time. Thank you, Matrix Disc, for the quarter viewer. It's glad to see you. Glad to see you sticking through. Great to have you back. I think I'm fine attacking Twisted Fate into a stun here. Our opponent is going to have plenty of those anyways. We're very unlikely to level Twisted Fate. Yeah, they were asserting an opinion on a card selection, Wolfie, without providing a justification for why their opinion was what it was. If you're going to give an opinion on a card, you should explain why your opinion is what it is, or you just shouldn't share it here. The world has enough unsubstantiated trash tier opinions in it. And maybe your opinion's not even trash tier. Maybe it's good. But if you're not helping us understand why it's good, you're not being helpful.
Some things never dull.
There's a command that has a link to how to Runeterra for Magic players somewhere. I don't remember what it's called now at this point.
My war host awaits. Only the lucky ones return home.
That's a big one. Get to Gangplank with our keg so we can make it rain to kill Yasuo here. Want to attack this in here because this has 3 attacks, so it can block this fearsome unit potentially. Opponent's down to 4 here, so they'll be dead to this decimate, which is nice.
Maybe I do.
Opponent is playing Ionia and has shown us 1 deny, so we'll see if they have a second deny here. You're not. So again, for the pick ban structure, our Twisted Fate Gangplank deck can now no longer be played. The deck editor does not have a craft all function. That is the one large remaining technical failure of Runeterra that I really hope they address sooner rather than later. So, opponent now has to beat my Nightfall aggro deck with both of these decks. As someone who spent the morning helping Christy build some extra decks on her account, that is very tedious. Crafting through extra things to start. Yeah, I agree, Quaddle. I really wish they would make adding craft all a priority, because the lack of a craft all function is something that's very in the face of new players when they come to Runeterra. I think I'm mulliganing those. I have a Nightfall enabler here already. Yeah, I think what Aughts there highlights a good assessment of Atrocity versus the Cygnus as far as top-end finishers in this archetype go. And it really highlights that it's generally speaking not a strictly better, strictly worse comparison. Atrocity is better against some things, and what's it called? Is better against some things.
Temperamental as moonlight.
just gonna play Diana here. Get my challenger in to kill this.
Yours is a light I cherish, Moon Sister.
I don't really consider not being able to deck build with cards you don't currently own that big of an issue. I think being able to deck build with cards not currently in your collection I would consider a minor feature request, whereas the lack of a craft all button is a pretty big sore thumb. I wouldn't put those things in the same category, really. Grant all allies in hand +1/+1. Interesting. I'm getting rid of Spacey Sketcher here. Double stun could be good for pushing lethal from the line.
Unseen, unheard, the new moon conceals you from our foes.
Huh? I think I'm gonna play out another Shadestalker here before we attack, so let's play this to enable Nightfall. And we'll play this. So Nightfall means it gets a bonus if it's explicitly not the first card you've played in a turn. This gains elusive permanently if it is Nightfall, so it's harder to block.
Without a sound.
Forgive me.
Put him down to 14 here. Zed's pretty scary, though.
We will resist.
Just gonna go ahead and chump block with these, I think.
We will be free.
Diana's gonna get to level up next turn, which is nice. I'm just gonna pass for now. See what they do. Might just bank mana this turn. So the next Nightfall unit I play will... The next Nightfall card I play will give Diana +2 attack and Challenger this turn. So my goal is going to be to play this and then hopefully stun them off of fearsome blockers, then get a good attack in. Because this card has a better stat line. I would like to attack for 3. We're definitely the beatdown at this point in this game. The Dusk Petals don't do anything for us at this point in the game. Maybe I save this stun defensively for now then, since I can have her hook this.
I will be heard.
Their regions don't have any sweepers they can play instead of combat, so it's not like there's something like a judgment here. They could have some stuns for our attackers to save some life total this turn, but that's fine.
I will teach you.
Sure. So these are trading and they kept Zed alive. They're still down to 6 though, and I have 4 elusive power. If they don't open on attacks, I have Crescent Strike to stop their attacking here.
They won't suffer long.
Okay, I agree, Limpton. That was net positive for us.
Ignorant brawl.
What do we think about going to 5 here, and then going soldier, soldier, and then next turn I can stun some of their blockers and go wide around them, like with a 3rd soldier? Spacey Sketcher is a card I've not been a fan of in the past. They could have something that gives overwhelm here, which would be lethal. They could also have some direct burn damage, which is a concern. I think I was supposed to jump.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics. Discipline and conviction.
If we stun here, this is a slow spell. I can't stun here.
Raise your weapon, Sunward.
Alright, second rule of Hoaglandia for people that are upset they've gotten timed out. 1, complaining about a timeout, that's another timeout. 2, you see how you just typed a giant paragraph there explaining yourself? You are capable of typing a full sentence before you hit enter inside of Twitch chat. So rather than just shouting opinions to start, provide justification of full thought before you press enter and hit send. Alright, they have deny here for that, but can the rest of these cut through is the question. If they have even 1 stun here, they survive.
Want to see these moves up close?
Also, if you think a 10-minute timeout is something that you would define as harsh, you're probably in a pretty good spot in life. Some people weren't disciplined enough as children, and it shows. Timeouts really aren't bad, I promise. They're really not a big deal. No champion deck. No champion and not undying. Interesting. Looks good, Dan. Thank you. I'm gonna start with that, with the Gangplank deck. I wonder if we'll have our same deck get banned every time again. I feel like this is likely to be an aggro deck. I'm gonna mulligan all of these, looking for 1s and 2s. Keep Petty Officer for now. Will do, Dan. Yeah, making Ezreal decks, Ezreal a competitive champion in a variety of decks again, really feels like it balanced the format really nicely. A lot of decks that I think were close to being too good before feel like they have only okay or bad, slightly bad Ezreal matchups, which has made the format feel really reasonable. This is definitely the best Runeterra format I've played since I started playing the game 4 or so months ago. 5 months ago? It was June, right? I think it was June. It's been a while at this point.
I never miss.
They do not, Relinor. The 1500 is a raw sub-count thing. Ghosty, thank you for the 10 months. Looking at Urbana-Champaign for a PhD program, have you traveled that way much? I have driven through there a few times. I actually looked at, in a previous life, I actually looked at PhD programs in Urbana-Champaign as well. At some point when I reach a post-meme lifestyle, I think I might do a PhD program there. They have a really, really good math program. Urbana-Champaign has also had one of the best COVID responses in the country. They have a very data scientific driven response. There's been a lot of articles written about it online. Very, very good stuff. Legend Killa, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Get a red card here and kill their board, hopefully. They are pilt over Bilgewater, so we could see them interact with my Kegan response here.
Something for all.
Bye, friends. Yeah, when I looked into math PhD programs, they were all like 5 to 6 years to complete after I already finished my graduate degree, and I just didn't want to commit to doing that much more school at that point in my life.
I'm out.
At some point I want to go do that, but probably not until my kids are in like high school at the very least. It's another decade from now. I enjoyed school in general. Imagine how high you can count with a math PhD. Oh, the places will go, the numbers will count.
I rarely forget. I never forget.
Captain on deck!
You started without me.
Although I will say my 5-year-old was peak Twitch chatter when remote learning was starting and we were doing some math with him. Christy decided to tell him that, you know, your dad went to school to study numbers and math, Declan, and he immediately turned to me and asked me to add very large numbers together.
I'm not greedy. My friends, though.
I love adventure. The treasure's just a bonus.
Be nothing left when I'm done.
Just the screams of the dying. I'll show him pain.
Was I interested in math from a young age or something later in life? Something a bit later in life? You're a math major, Dave, every number. Yeah, exactly.
Get yours.
I originally was going to go to school for a computer science degree, and then I took calculus and was kind of hooked. It was the first level of mathematics that was like, oh, this is really neat. Really enjoyed the level of problem solving from there on out. What was my master's thesis in? It was about generating networks using Python and tracing certain types of networks and analyzing them using Python scripting.
Drink up. The taverns will sing our tale this eve.
My master's thesis is the first and only thing I've ever written in LaTeX, and I never intend to touch that again. He says immediately after talking about wanting to get a PhD in math. Hopefully a decade from now, the other tools to write math typeset will be even more advanced and LaTeX will be a thing of the past. LaTeX just so tedious. The amount of tedious that LaTeX is not proportional to the amount of better it looks. So, like, it does look marginally better than writing formulas in, you know, Google Docs or, like, Microsoft Office, but not so much better that it's worth all the extra work you have to do. I think we keep Diana here. Mulligan these looking for cheaper Nightfall enablers. Maybe I'm supposed to keep a Fading Memories. As a PhD student, I'm living in LaTeX right now. I feel your pain. Yep. Yeah, maybe I should have kept one. I'm just gonna bank Spell Mana for now and see what we draw next turn. We still type. God, that was the worst part about job hunting post grad school, where like you have to manually copy and paste all your information from your resume into different jobs you're applying for. Actually just the Stone Cold Brawlers. It's a good draw. I played this out without Nightfall last turn, so that way I could have a blocker for this. He said optimistically before it stood alone. Standalone and Arena Battlecaster in the same deck is definitely a decision.
Mother Moon veiled.
I wrote a Python script to put my resume into those forms, and then I put that script on my resume. Man, that's like the biggest brain plays right there.
Time for the main event.
Yeah, that's Mad Lad. Some Mad Lad next level development there. Is it on GitHub asking the real questions? Please, sir, may I have some source code?
Noxus steps up.
Must we fight?
Hey, thanks for the Prime sub, J Hunter. Really appreciate it. Hope you're staying safe out there. Thanks for the half a year. Doing well, Lilipad. We finished Spider-Man Miles Morales on stream last night. It was rather short, but a lot of fun while we played it. We got about a little over 10 hours of gameplay out of it. Hopefully they do some DLC to add a few more hours to it. I think at this point I'm playing a Doom Beast to play another Elusive.
Invisible to the ignorant.
Hey, thanks for the 24 months, Burning Piggy. Welcome back. Good morning. Huh?
Fear not death.
Are we still doing voting for continued race? We're not, Fox. Based on the feedback on the sub survey, I'm just gonna make executive choices on that. Yes, Horizon Zero Dawn and Breath of the Wild are gonna return Saturday and Sunday this week. There's been a few things talked about Python, Claire. I mentioned that part of my master's thesis was analyzing network graphs in Python, and someone else said they wrote a script to enter resume information onto websites using Python. I feel like, I'm surprised that's not linked. I've linked my, Lilipad, thanks for linking to much. I've linked my master's thesis in chat before. Should probably just have it comes up often enough that we should probably just put it on command, huh? These trades would be great for us.
Time for the moneymakers.
End of November 2012. Crap. It's been 8 years, chat. Why has it been 8 years? God, I'm old. Where is it? There's a PDF file in here somewhere. Comes up often enough. I think we've died, chat. Okay, that's fine. We won the first one, so now we just have to win with the Nightfall deck against their championless deck. That was so long ago, chat. Years. I didn't even have children then. Stalking Shadows is great here. Doom Beast's a little expensive. So this is an enabler for Nightfall. So I think I can wait on... I'm going to keep this time. I think we got punished for not keeping it last time. Opponent's username means good night, nerds. That's great. You love to see it.
Let's get him, crew.
Why does Undying tend to not play champs? It's not that Undying means you're not playing champs. It's just that the only somewhat common championless deck is Undying. So there's Undying variations that also play champions. There aren't really any well-established championless decks in the current format. I think I'm holding on to Spacey Sketcher for now. Spacey Sketcher has really not felt good. This card is really underperforms in every deck that I've played it in. People were really high on this card at the start when it first released, and then it promptly fell off, and I think it fell off for a reason. Pretty low quality card on average.
No more lies. Face your heretic.
To be fair, Fox, there's probably a good chance that that paper is now outside of my element now as well. It's been 8 years since I wrote it, and past Jeff's understanding of that content was almost certainly better than present Jeff's understanding.
Meet destiny.
Suit up. Stalking Shadows into Pale Cascade and trade here. Super into Shadestalker, I think. Stygian pushes damage right away. I could like this into triple Stygian next turn. Let's do that.
Moonlight guide me.
I don't think that's strictly true, Plaid. Like, I think Kalista with Undying is pretty good. I also think Elise is just good. Just a good champion in general. I could Crackshot as well. That's fair. Like, I kind of want to discard Crackshot to Sketcher, though.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty sparkle fly.
Is Jeff's thesis about a color? It is kind of. It is about coloring things.
Night flowers upon the blade.
You have paid 4 mana for a Lunari Dustbringer. Enjoy. Spooky. This would be sketch if Make It Rain cost 2. Thankfully, it doesn't. So we get to just run head first in there. This is going to level up here soon too, which is great. So we get to Stalking Shadows into Crescent, and then we can Diana into Nocturne the following turn. And a good spot to knock him down here. Yeah, I agree. Sticky and Onlooker basically turns into a bird spell, like I said, with that. It's very, very sweet. This can. In the event that, like, this into these isn't enough, these elusives can definitely close out the game.
I have arrived.
I love that animation. It's so good. Ooh, speaking of good, that's pretty great. So they get to attack and hook this and kill it. Overwhelm for 4. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Burgundy. It
Tried to blind me.
It really puts into perspective how greedy other card games are.
Find your own light within the darkness.
Within the darkness. So I think we actually vulnerable. No, I'm gonna vulnerable this one, right? Because this isn't gonna be able to block once we attack anyways.
Moonlight cloaks the land in silver.
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously we talk about Magic a lot on this channel because that's the game that I have the most history with, but, like, for example, for people that don't follow me on Twitter, 1, you should, but 2, I posted a spending log of all of the card games I bought into over the last few years, and I played a little bit of Hearthstone at one point, and honestly, I think Hearthstone's monetization is probably even more greedy than Magic Arena. Which is saying something. The season I played Hearthstone for, it cost me $1,200 to get a full card set, and that was just for 4 sets in their standard format. Huh? I'm gonna ban their dragon deck. Everybody keeps banning our dragon deck. You know, it's funny, and this isn't a knock against Runeterra, it's kind of a commentary on the rest of it, but I honestly don't even view Runeterra as being super generous, so much as it's just like, not a scam, right? Like, I think the framing of Runeterra being generous should, like, it kind of normalizes the fact that, like, the norm is being a greedy pile of garbage as far as games go. Like, in an ideal world, we would consider Runeterra the norm, I think, and games like Hearthstone and Arena, like, greedy outliers.
I'm still good to scrap. Ready weapons.
Tradesies? Vladimir Swain, Bilgewater. Sweep.
Always 2 steps ahead.
and tell Fiora to get flocked here, I would assume. It's definitely sad that Runeterra telling you exactly how much products cost and what you get for your money is considered innovative and generous. Yeah, really, like the whole industry, like, you know, Magic created the OG loot boxes back in the day, and then Hearthstone came to digital and imported loot boxes into digital, and then everybody else just followed suit.
You pay, I talk to spirits. These are my rules.
I think if they want to trade a 3-1 plus a burn spell for this dragon, I'm okay with that exchange. It's pretty tempo even for us. There were trading cards before Magic. So there were Dude Light, but Magic, the other trade... Can someone fact check this? Was there a trading card game before Magic in the early 90s that had a game that you played with it? Because trading cards existed for a long time, but they weren't a game usually, right? They were just a collectible item. Yeah, the game part of TCG is I believe, what Magic pioneered. Yeah, trading cards definitely existed, and sports cards are a good one to point out, but the game aspect was unique to Magic. Is it crazy to end the round here and burn their mana? Like, getting damage marked on my things isn't great anyways. I think I'm happy to burn 6 mana here. Pharaohs played dual monsters in ancient Egypt. Get your facts straight. Sorry, I apologize. My children have definitely watched what you could classify as an unhealthy amount of Yu-Gi-Oh, so I understand where you're going. According to Wikipedia, Topps had tried to make baseball into a game, but they weren't successful at it. Interesting. How about we single combat these here? And that lets this survive. I think I like that. Someone asked how this Dragon's deck has been. We don't have a ton of experience with it. This is our first game playing it. And that's one of the tougher parts about playing Gauntlet lineups is we're going to get some interesting games in. But as far as, like, forming opinions on decks is going to be tough because I'm not going to play each deck in each match because of how bans work. Okay, so they end up trading evenly for both my things here, and that's fine, right? Like, they're down to a 3-1 plus 1 card in hand to our 3 cards in hand on our board, so we're pretty far ahead here now at this point.
I'm something of an aspiring trichologist. Keep up, old man. Things are different in the field.
Destination in sight.
So it's important that the dragon strikes second, so that way the dragon gets a 1/1 counter from Fury. Afternoon that Bantos fellow. To arms! So Swain is more than ready to level here, but this Dargon plus this single combat can tell him to bugger off. Egghead is very, very good in these dragon decks. Getting an early blocker is great, and a bomb for later is stellar.
I have the land. I need the
Rare sight to behold. The few for the many.
The few for the many.
It's absolutely stellar.
For silver I talk, for gold I listen.
For gold, I listen.
Fine, fine.
Destination in sight. Bring these lands to their knees.
Why not fight Swain before combat? Because Leviathan is scarier than Swain. Leviathan is the card that we care about.
Prepare the cargo! There is no excess when victory is at stake. All better than one.
So they'll tell this to get flocked, and then these three are going to get stunned here. Yeah, they drew all three Leviathans this game. Not a whole lot we could do about that.
Artillery barrage! Such little lives.
And this is a good example. I talked about Herald of Dragons when we started. I'm not convinced this is a playable card. Like, it dies a lot early, and drawing it in spots like this is really god-awful.
family, my bloodkin.
Ye started without me.
You cut your Heralds a while ago. Yeah, I think that's a good decision. Yeah, I probably should cycle this. Game's easy, chat. Draw what you need. I don't know. I don't know if that card is good, but that animation is amazing. It's just such a simple... it's phenomenal. Yeah, we beat Triple Leviathan, which is pretty sweet. Alright, so we got a chance to win a mirror, and we've got a chance to beat this deck. So again, they have to beat our deck with both of these, and we just have to beat one of their two with ours. So they get to choose, do they want to play a mirror, or do they want to play Swain against us? They would like to play a mirror match, they say. Honestly, I think I'm going to keep all these. Seems fine. I might Stygian on one, honestly, because we can Fading Memories it later to enable Diana. So, because Runeterra's a well-balanced game where attacking first isn't strictly an advantage, like, for example, attacking on evens in the Diana matchup is probably beneficial in a lot of situations. Who's going first each game is random.
Only a fool would enter battle unprepared.
I agree that the one thing I half miss about Magic is playing in actual tournaments in person, but that's not an option right now anyways. So even if that was the part of Magic I still wanted to engage with, that's not a choice. I could see post-pandemic, even if I'm still streaming Runeterra as a full-time job, occasionally playing like a paper NRG tournament that's like, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours from my house. Like, for example, Nerd Rage in the before times, they did a lot of tournaments at a water park hotel in Gurnee, Illinois, and we'd go up there with Christy and the kids, and I'd play a tournament for one of the 2 days, and I'd spend a day in the water park with them for the other. So it was always great. New paper TCGs are DOA. If I wanted to play a game casually, I would play one of these many board games. And if I wanted to get into a different paper card game that wasn't Magic, it would definitely be Pokemon, or they're actually rebooting the Digimon card game as well. And I watched a couple how to play videos for that, and it looks really good. When the new Digimon TCG gets a US printing early next year, I plan to get some starter decks to play with the kids.
Find your own light within the darkness. Yours is a light I cherish, Moon Sister.
If we're gonna see Pale Cascade and them eat this, I think I just want to trigger Nightfall this turn. We'll do this into Doom Beast here, work towards leveling my Diana up. No Yu-Gi-Oh! The Yu-Gi-Oh! IP doesn't really do it for me, and having read a bunch of different Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, I am unconvinced that Yu-Gi-Oh! Contains good game design.
Cloaked in silver, the moon is our queen, the night her kingdom.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Seems needlessly wordy. They probably Pale Cascaded the Diana to beat a Pale Cascade out of me, Plaid. So if I had a Pale Cascade of my own there, I could have punished the opponent for not Pale Cascading their Diana. Yeah, silencing their elusive sounds fine.
And here's where I'd paint my constellation.
Yeah, board games are great. That's the thing I am looking forward to most when vaccines become distributed and available, is having people over to play board games again. Good morning, Abyssal. Be very quiet. So, we're behind on cards in hand, but we're a little bit ahead on board right now.
Find your path in the dark and follow no false light.
Yeah, I bought some Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks with the intention of trying to teach the kids how to play a little bit, and just like the average Yu-Gi-Oh! Card just has way too many words on it to do with them.
Face your heretic.
I'm not attacking anything else into this because this is ephemeral. They have a Pale Cascade here, they get to eat my Diana, but I think that's a worthwhile risk. And then because they didn't Pale Cascade here, we know they don't have another Diana, because the other Diana in hand would have been a Pale Cascade, right? Yeah, exactly, Violet Journey. Like, when someone mentioned Flesh and Blood, like, I'm kind of over the TCG model in general. Like, we talk about games like Hearthstone and Arena being predatory and digital. TCGs in paper are also predatory for that same reason. Like, the idea that you are required to gamble to get the cards you actually want to play sucks. Like, secondary markets kind of make up for it a little bit, but not exactly, because secondary markets can run rampant on pricing and, you know, unregulated speculation. Yeah, I played a bunch of Pokemon. Pokemon's a good core card game. And like I said, I have the Digimon IP as a special place in my heart. I plan to pick up some of that to play with the kids at some point.
Our time.
Yeah, them hitting Nocturne here is real good. He's about to level up and then I can't block anything. These are all gonna be fearsome. Are we dead? I think we're just dead, right? If they don't hook my thing. Yeah, okay. So, we won the first game in this set, though. So, I get to play my Nightfall deck against their Swain deck now. So, we're not done because these are best of 3. So, it's going to be Swain Vlad versus our Nightfall deck for the last one. Whoever wins this game wins the set. So, I banned this deck. They banned this deck. I won with this one. They won with this one. So, we can't play these anymore. And now, these are the remainings. I agree, as someone who's played a bit of Keyforge, that I think that game's less accessible than Pokemon or Digimon for small kids. I would believe you that kids could play it, but I also have a bunch of Warhammer TCG cards, which while that game failed and is now dead, the core gameplay loop in that is pretty reasonable. I think I'll teach the kids that at some point. Yeah, I think that would be a fine build around, Claire. Those sound like sweet synergistic cards. Definitely mulliganing Atrocity. Is it crazy to mulligan Nocturne here? The IP is Warhammer Fantasy. Pokemon TCG has a lot of shuffling. I agree with that. That is an accurate assessment. Do I plan on playing Demon Souls? No. The core gameplay loop of Demon Souls is stupid, in my opinion. I'm glad other people enjoy it, but it's not a style of game that I like. I think games that add playtime by making you tediously repeat things are tedious.
I'm not afraid. This is a wee bit free.
I don't mind games that have challenging gameplay, but like the thing, if you haven't seen me play some other games, we played Hollow Knight on stream, and Hollow Knight is very similar to games like Dark Souls, where you play for 10 minutes, you lose to a boss or an enemy, and then you have to replay the last 10 minutes that you already played so you can get back to the challenging part. Games like that, I feel like they don't respect my time as a player. I don't mind having to master a skill in a video game to get past part of it, but don't make me repeat the 10 minutes I already mastered to get back to the part that I struggled with. A lot of people refer to those as punishing games. I think you should just call a spade and say they don't respect your time. Because that's what they're doing. Their punishment is not respecting your time. And look, if that's your kink, if you want your games to punish you a little bit, we don't kink shame here. But that's just not for me. I'm not a fan of that focus of playstyle. How do you feel about roguelites, about Slay the Spire? It's a roguelite. I wasn't a huge fan of Slay the Spire. I found the gameplay to be shallow and uncompelling for the most part.
They forced us to choose death or the blade.
Just don't die. Yeah, exactly, Jake. Just don't die, idiot. You don't get punished. You don't have to replay it if you just don't die. Just get good. Like, for example, to show a game that I thought was done really well, we just finished Spider-Man Miles Morales last night, and that game even has checkpoints inside of the different stages you play in each boss. So, like, the boss will have, like, 2 or 3 different parts that you have to fight through, and if you die in the second or third part, it doesn't even make you go back and replay the boss from the very beginning. It just warps you back to where you were at the start of that part. Which I, as a person that doesn't enjoy having to repeat the same things over and over again, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. How long was the actual length of Miles Morales? And honestly, talking about games that extend their length by punishing you, they probably could have made the Spider-Man game longer by being less generous with their autosaves. There was about we got about 11 hours of gameplay out of the new Spider-Man. Really enjoyed the gameplay that it had, but it is quite short. Full playthrough for that's up on my YouTube channel. Feels like we're pretty far behind here. We're close to parity on board. I'm at 2 cards in hand, one of which is this, and they're at 5 cards. I think I do this to kill their thing at this point. Does Miles Morales keep the tedious stealth sections that were in the previous Spider-Man game? So there was one stealth section that I would define as tedious. It's only to be fair, it's only a $50 game. So it's shorter, but it was only 50 instead of 70. For people that aren't familiar with Miles Vorthos, Miles can turn invisible as well, which also makes some of the stealth sections less tedious and easier. So you can buy the base game as extra. So I paid $70 for the base Spider-Man game and Miles Morales Multiple Zero. Okay. Would really like to draw a Nightfall enabler next turn, so we can like drop this into this. Huh. Okay, with that, we're now playing this as an enabler for this one. feel like we're gonna have a hard time overcoming this. They have a way to damage my Nexus here. They get to stun this, which is pretty rough. They have like a third Death Sand here. They get to kill this, stun this, then I probably just can't win the game anymore. If they can't stun anything this turn, I have a pretty decent shot at winning, though. So I have a pretty decent attack here. Okay, well. Take those.
Justify yourself. You lack discipline.
Gotta kill that one. It's a real shame we don't have 4 more mana, huh? This could let us steal a game here, though, maybe. Couple other good draws. We took their Swain off the table. We're knocking them to 7 here. I definitely think we're behind here, but we have tools in our deck to steal from this position. They have another Swain here. We're gonna die in a fire. Cannot end the round fast enough.
Lunari, rise.
Okay. Yep. Their region doesn't have any healing, right? Hashtag sometimes lucky. Yeah, just like by this much. Great. Can we do it, chat? Can we go 4 for 4 on achieving 4 win gauntlet runs? I think they were expecting me to commit things to the board. Easiest ban of my life. Eat these. Opponent's got a real lineup here. I'm gonna open on Nightfall, I think. Correct, Volpert. I think this matchup's bad for us. I'm gonna mulligan these two, looking for lower curve filler. Crescent Guardian seems excellent here because it survives Avalanche. These spacey sketchers have been consistently dog poop. I guess this is a Nightfall enabler?
Oh yeah, that's a pretty sparkle fly.
Ours is the one true light. Punish transgressions.
Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to discard Nocturne there instead of the other 1-drop. I don't know, double 1-drop on turn 2 is not stellar into what's it called? I'm failing to find the word. Into Vile Beast. Open up. Graspeer is very good for them. You get to kill this and then go to 15. Whales also okay. They would end up at 13. Stone Cold nothing. That's good for the home team. Avalanche plus Vile Feast lets them get the board into check here. They could have Ruination as early as next turn if they bank some mana here. Again, Spacey Sketcher just looking awkward in a handful of cards that I don't really want to discard to it. I guess we're discarding Nocturne. Maybe I'm supposed to have been Unspeakable Horror there, actually. I don't know, horror being a little bit of reach, because that's his champion spell.
One star's Moopsie is another spark.
Maybe these two elusives together can get us there. Yeah, he's just not guaranteed to be a horror after the first one dies, and I might want the point of reach. Yep, Claire. Gifted subs are the same as normal subs in every way, shape, and form. They're not treated any differently. So do I ferret into Doom Beast? If opponent has another Trundle, we get Icequake tier.
This'll take the chill off.
Okay. No Icequake at least. So they get to level Trundle next turn. And that's going to let him vulnerable my Ferret. Hopefully the Stalking Shadows can drag us kicking and screaming across the finish line. The Spines are their Doom Beast. We potentially have lethal just with those. Their archetype does have a lot of healing in it, chat. I'm gonna pass, because they're definitely attacking.
Let's take this outside.
One snack'll do.
Okay, so this gained 3 attacks. They have 2 things in their hand that cost 8 or more. Nocti, thank you for the 10 months of Prime. Really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Find your path in the dark and follow no false light. Each act of heresy is an act of passion.
Are they dead? I'm supposed to do this, right? This is better. This is better than this because this loses to Vile Feast. Because this is gonna give everything fearsome.
Moonlight cloaks the land in sin.
Animation's so good. All right. Good, solid game one. Now we have to, we just got to take one of these next two with our Twisted Gangplank. That matchup, the War Brothers matchup, or Feel the Rush matchup, the Shadow Isles Freljord control, that's usually hard for the Nightfall aggro deck, right? I feel like they have a lot of good tools to beat our deck. So they get to choose which one they play first. But they have to beat our Gangplank deck now with both of their decks. I agree, Tenkaro. I also think something that we're gonna see change and why seasonal tournaments are really awesome, as we've seen Runeterra ramp up their organized play over the course of the next year with seasonal tournaments and other things, we'll see the formats likely get even more diverse as people work to innovate in them. Competition definitely drives innovation. Who's got two thumbs and isn't playing around Avalanche? This guy. Damn it, one drop. They almost assuredly have a catalyst there, and we just get to deny them. Basically, so I gave up 2 points of damage to deny them the ability to ramp there, is basically what I did. Because they would have healed 3. I don't think anybody's bashing, I haven't heard anybody bash seasonal tournaments so much as I think people just haven't really thought about how having competition will drive innovation even more. Having that extra carrot at the end of the stick will push people to try harder.
What will you have?
How do we feel about pick-a-carding here? Do we want to pick a card, put back this, or do I want a Grifter?
Oh, do you want to get back to work?
Well, if I pick a card, I definitely want to save spell mana. I think my mana's not quite high enough to leverage pick a card yet. Easy game, chat. There were some people in chat that were mentioning having concern about playing Yordle Grifter with so many Noxious cards in this build, and to those people, all I have to say is, please try being luckier. It's a strong play. What's the old saying? Luck is where skill meets preparation, or skill meets opportunity. Preparation meets opportunity. Preparation meets opportunity. Easy block. I'll pass here and see what they do. I think we're ahead on board and can take a pass. I don't know. I guess they're at 19 too, though. That's good. This could go either way. They could just pass back and burn mana here.
Lady Luck is smiling.
I've carved meat bigger than you.
Yeah, I think my play was loose here. I think I shouldn't have taken the pass last turn.
I smell a fight.
Store the rations! Shackle the prisoners!
Hey, Thomas, thanks for the 15 months. Yeah, this format's been gasoline. I use pick a card because I want to level my Twisted Fate.
Now this game's heating up.
Again, Rexing into Tryndamere doesn't sound very good. Well, Trundle's not leveled, right?
Gotta trust your instincts.
Let's start here.
Eyes open.
We could Rex here, I suppose, now. If I Rex, does red card happen first, or does his cannons happen first? I probably want to Rex after red card, right?
He's talking without me.
Who says I don't share?
Well, so the problem with warning shotting, chat, when you burst spell with level Twisted Fate out, you pass priority. For people that don't understand that interaction, for reference.
What's that you got there? You poor thing.
So this even means we live through... This means we get to live through a atrocity for a turn at least, so that's nice.
Hold it, partner.
Yellow Mimic, thank you for the third of a year Prime support. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Keep up, keep up.
My dashboard wasn't refreshing. We had a bunch of new follows today as well. Welcome to everybody joining the channel. Thanks for hanging out here today. I think we're on the burn them out plane at this point, right? So I think I start with Zap here over this.
Water.
so... I think we do this, and then we also warding shot to get our red card, gold card in.
Do you want to get back to work?
Dead in their tracks.
So I don't want to fervor the keg because Twisted Fate's dying anyways, and I don't want them to be able to stop my keg. My thing, that's a perfect draw. I don't want them to be able to stop my thing with a Vile Feast.
Leave your bags in the door.
Alright, one more Noxian Fervor, please, for the exact C's. Never lucky.
Let's do this.
I mean, if these Make It Rains roll right, we technically kill them, right? And I'm gonna attack with everything, hoping they trade this for one of them here. Hoping they play scared with this. Yeah, it makes the Make It Rains have a higher chance to kill them.
Get yours. There's plenty of killing left.
I assume they're opening attacks here. Ah, we were this close. We were this close. That's fine. That's fine. This is game 2. We got a game 3. All right, so we're done. We're done with this one. We're done with this deck. They got us. That's fine. Really needed to hit that Noxian Fervor the previous turn, huh? Really close game. All right, so TFGP versus Ash Shajani to see if we can get our fourth and final fourth win gauntlet of the day. Yeah, that was great. That was great. Really close nail biter down to the end. Hit the bad side of some variants, get another try here. I think I want a mulligan looking for an aggressive curve in this matchup. I really want like 1s and 2s. 1, 2, 3s. Pretty sure we play this on 1 as a 2-2 here. Can we play our Make It Rain for 2 mana and then kill this and deal 1 to them and get in? Oh no. There is a thick, chunky monkey about to roll off the top of their deck, chat. It's about to roll on in and mess with our business.
Time to get rich.
You have brittle steeled the thing. I think I'm supposed to hold this to deal more down the line.
Yeah, you don't want to cross.
All right. See, chat? 10 Noxian cards, no problem. My extra damage in here with the warning shot. It triggers Gangplank as well, which I think is good for us. I think they're an Avalanche deck. What is in their hand?
Seize the opportunity.
No one blows up our kegs but us. Yeah, exactly. Hello, oldest son. Aww. I love you too, Jacob. That's very good handwriting. You practicing writing with mom? I can keep that. Thank you, Jacob. Forever. Make it rain. Some things die while others feel the pain. Make it rain. He brought me a paper that says, Dear Daddy, I love you. Love, Jacob. Isn't that sweet, chat? Warms your heart. It even warms my cold, dead heart. I don't really care about this, right? It, like, can't block.
There's plenty of killing left. Charge!
I should set it up because of that. That's a good call. Alright, I'll jump it. We'll keep our life total high. Okay, so that has to mean they have Reckoning, right? So now I'm gonna play this and red card them.
Never lost a fair game. Or played one. Something for all of you.
Yeah, it also feels a little spooky ghosty, but it is what it is. I don't know, you don't play this here if you're ghosting, right? So probably not. I don't know. There's like playing. We could have Scorched Earth too. That could just be a heads up play trying to play around this. So if they're ghosting, they definitely don't do that. So like, and that's why I didn't say that, because like to start, because generally speaking, ghosting's not something that happens very frequently. When we were wondering what cards they had in their hand, they must have just had a bunch of Frostbite, huh? Sweet. Four gauntlets, 4 different lineups, four win sets. You could say I'm a fan of this format, Chip. Nerf Jeff Hoagland, right? We also really farmed up these tracks here, getting piles of experience. I think, and again, I don't have a ton of commentary on the specific decks that we played, because we didn't play a ton of these decks in those, because like one of them was banned through each of the sets. My one comment on Nightfall aggro is that this card consistently felt like poop, and it would not be a card I'd be interested in playing again. The Shyvana Garen deck that we played felt really good. I think I might have liked this better than the Sunny Dragons deck that we played, but we also only played a couple of games with it, so it's hard to tell. I think the Shyvana Garen and the Leona Shyvana are both decks that I want to play more in dedicated sets, and the Leona Shyvana deck is in the deck queue, so we're going to get to that one sometime this week, most likely, but something with Shyvana and, like, Dragon's Clutches and this, Targon Splash is definitely super reasonable. Yeah, Twisted Gangplank. This deck actually really surprised me. This is an archetype that I feel like people moved away from in favor of the Misfortune aggro decks, like the more stock or common Noxian Bilgewater aggressively slanted deck these days is definitely with Misfortune, and this slightly bigger build was popular once upon a time, and it felt good today. Felt super reasonable. I do think the people that were commenting that Yordle Grifter with our number of Noxious cards is greedy are probably correct. Like, some number of Pharaon or Decimate is probably too many at the top end of the curve. But overall, this deck felt super reasonable. And then, yeah, the last one, Fiora, Shyvana. This one just got banned a whole bunch, so I don't really have strong opinions on this. The couple of games that I think we only played it in one of the games. I think it got banned 3 of the 4 matches that we played. Hey, sounds good, Spartan. Will do. At any rate, that's going to be it for me for today, folks. Hey, Elkurak Shiny, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, thanks for dropping in today. I stream full-time here. I do Runeterra stuff 5 to 6 days a week in the mornings here. I also have a YouTube channel where I archive everything that I stream, as well as cutting up highlights of some of the best games that we've played day to day, so be sure to check that out as well. I'm signing off for the afternoon. For folks that are into my variety stuff, I am not live this evening. I take Monday nights off for variety. I'll be back tomorrow morning with some more Runeterra. The gauntlet closes tonight, so we'll be back to doing normal 1 deck per segment for tomorrow, and then I'll be back tomorrow night. We're going to be starting Disco Elysium tomorrow night as a new variety game. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for the new follows. Wave us. Welcome to Glandia. I appreciate that. Everybody stay safe out there everywhere in the world. Hopefully see some of you around tomorrow. Peace, folks.